So I'm going to try and reference the breathing quite a bit as we go through today. And I want you to start to notice which poses your breathing becomes like different. So on certain poses, I know I have to work harder to keep my breathing calmer because the poses are more challenging. And I have to really sort of work to maintain my breath. I'm sure you guys notice the same thing. So come and stand to the mat. Do that because of a bit. And we work through our sun salutation. So grounding the feet into the floor, taking a few deep breaths, but not too deep. Inhale, take the arms high, look to the sun. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the floor. Inhale, look up and lengthen your spine. Exhale, take your feet back however it works for you and lower down chaturanga however it works for you. Inhale, come through to an upward facing dog. Exhale, go into downward facing dog and just hang out there. If you need to lift the heels, that's totally fine. If you need to bend the knees, that's also totally fine. If you want to drop to your knees and do the downward facing dog there, that's also totally fine. Checking on the breathing. Can you keep that nice soft breath going? And can the breath be adding to the whole calming nature of what you're doing? And then when you're ready, inhale, bringing the feet back up towards the top of the mat, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. And exhale, finish the whole thing, Samahiti. And we're going to do another couple of rounds. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, take it back and down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. So even maybe you didn't feel like the left side was dominant earlier, but as you start to go into your practice, do you feel that natural kind of transition that the left side nostril is actually starting to be more dominant? If you want to do your little walkie legs, that's fine. And then when you're ready, inhale, come all the way up to the top, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finishing with your arms by your sides. And we're going to do another 3 of these. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Or whatever you're doing, set. Just another little moment to check on your breathing. Has it become forced? Maybe it's got a little bit faster as you start to move, but we want to try to encourage it to stay steady and smooth and slow. And then when you're ready, inhale, bringing the feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finishing with your arms by your sides. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. and exhale. So quite often in my classes, I used to say, your breathing shouldn't be so loud that the person on the other side of the room can hear it, but probably just loud enough that if the person on the mat next to you can hear it, if they're really listening for it. That doesn't apply anymore. Because if you can hear someone else's breathing from their front room, that's not going to work. But maybe just think about that. How far is the sound of your breath traveling? When you're ready, inhale, bringing the feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finish with your arms by your side, Samhistihi. So go one more round. Inhale, taking the arms up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, Chaturanga, back and down. Inhale to upward. Exhale to downward and stay. 5, 4. Try to engage the lower abdomen and feel the rib cage really expand and contract with your breath. 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, bringing the feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finish with your arms by your side, Samhistihi. So same but different. Bend the knees nice and deeply. Reach the arms up towards the ceiling. 1. Exhale, fold to the floor just like before. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, back to Chaturanga, however it works for you. Inhale to upward. Exhale to downward. So right leg comes forward. Arms go higher in your warrior. Ideally, you get to here on one long inhalation, and then you go back down to the floor, also on one long exhalation. So it's inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Inhale, left foot forward up to warrior. Exhale, back down, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward. Exhale to downward. Set and stay. 5. So, particularly when you're starting out with this practice, it can be a bit of a struggle to make that journey up to warrior in one breath. So if you need to, take an extra breath. If I kind of am running ahead of you, you might need to miss a breath out every now and then. But try and keep your breath as steady as possible and just kind of align it to mine in the best that you can. So when you're ready with the inhalation, the feet come forward looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, bend the knees deeply, bring the arms high. Exhale, finish to Samhistihi. So this should start to get the temperature rising. Inhale, we go again. I bend the knees, arms high. 1. Exhale, fold to the floor. 2. Inhale, looking up. 3. Exhale, Chaturanga. 4. Inhale to upward facing dog. 5. Exhale to downward facing dog. 6. Inhale to warrior. 7. Exhale, Chaturanga. 8. Inhale, upward facing dog. 9. Exhale, downward facing dog. 10. Inhale, other side warrior. 11. Exhale, back to the floor, 12. Inhale, upward facing dog, 13. Exhale, downward facing dog, 14. Set and stay. And be nice to yourself. If you need to do a different pose to the one I'm describing, that's totally fine. Let's keep our breath our priority this morning. When you're ready, inhale, bringing the feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold the head to the legs. Inhale, knees bending, arms high. Exhale, finishing to Samhistihi. I'm going to do one more this morning. Inhale, bend the knees, take the arms high. Exhale, fold. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg first. Inhale, lift. Make those arms find their way to the top, however works for you. Exhale, same on the way back down. Inhale, opening the chest, keeping the belly strong. Exhale, left leg this time. Inhale, rising up. Exhale, lowering back down. Inhale to upward. Exhale to downward. Set and stay. How's that breathing? How's the throat? How's the nose? How are you generally feeling? Do you feel like the breathing is providing your body with the right amount of air? Are those muscles being given the oxygen that they need to work? Inhale, bringing the feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, bend the knees, reach the arms high. Exhale, finishing to Samhistihi. Good work, team. So here's our first pose, Padangusthasana. Take the feet hip distance apart. Just use your fingers on your belly to really fire up that Uddiyana Bandha. So you want to feel this part of your lower belly drawing inwards and upwards. Inhale, lift the chest, look up. Exhale, keep that belly long, fold yourself forward. If you can grab your big toes, grab them. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold your head towards the floor. Don't worry if you can't reach your feet, that's fine. Just grab whatever you can reach, maybe your legs. And then just be mindful as we're going through the class. You've got to take your body to the closest approximation of the pose that it's happy to deal with today. And the breath is a great tool for that. Because if you've tried to get yourself into a position which is maybe a little bit too much for today, then your breathing is going to start to get a little bit forced as you struggle to maintain it. So get yourself into a nice version of the pose where you can breathe steady. And then I use every exhalation just to try and squeeze a little bit more out of the pose. And then I use the inhalation as a kind of assessment or pause or just decision time to whether on the next exhalation I'm just going to stay and soften, or maybe on the next exhalation I'm going to try and push a little bit further. Inhale, look up and lengthen the spine. So for the next pose, Padangusthasana, we put the hands under the feet. So the palm of your hands and the sole of the feet join each other. Inhale, take the opportunity to fire up that Uddiyana Bandha. Feel your belly strong and draw the shoulder blades down your back. Exhale again, head comes to the floor. And though it's tempting to put all the weight into your heels, if you allow yourself to put a little forward into your hands, should give your wrist a real nice release from all the leaning that we did on them in our sun salutations. Inhale, look up and lengthen your spine. Exhale, bring your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way to the top. And exhale, jump or step your feet together. Now we go for Trikonasana. You step out to the right and you swivel the right foot so it's facing the back of your mat. You want to keep the torso facing the long side of your mat. Yeah, you guys who know the poses, you can go straight there. You don't need to wait for me to tell you. So I'm sliding that right hand down the right leg. If I can reach my toe, 2 fingers grab my toe. If not, I'm resting on my ankle or the hand on the floor or the shin. I would be mindful about resting your hand on your knee because that probably won't be that nice for the back of your knee. And the dristi, your gaze spot, is your left thumb on this occasion. Use the power in your legs. Press into your feet. Inhale, lift up through the middle. Exhale, swivel your feet so we can come down onto the other side. And don't worry if the pose is a little different on one side to the other. That's pretty normal. None of us are completely even. So breathing steady and soft. And then just using your breath to kind of change subtly the version of the pose that you're doing. Where are you feeling it? Can you breathe into those areas of tension and encourage them to relax a little? When you're ready, inhale, pull it all the way up. Now we swivel ourselves to face the back of the mat, and the left hand is going to try to make its way down to the floor just by your right little toe. And then the other arm can reach up. So this is twisted triangle. It's got a revolve twist in it. So your spine should be making a beautiful spiral effect from your tailbone to the crown of your head. Check in on the breathing. In the twists, the breathing is tricky because the abdomen is completely squished. And now you've got to really work to let those lungs and ribs open and close, expanding, contracting with your breath, which is good because that's what we want the breath to be doing. Inhale, reach it up. Exhale, bring it down to the other side. Breathing is also pretty challenging in back bends for similar reason. If you feel like you need to have something to rest your hand on other than your leg, a pile of books, coffee table, chair, whatever you can lay your hands on. If you have a yoga block, sometimes they come in handy. Inhale, come all the way up. And then exhale, we reset, Samhastha. Now we go for the side angles. So it's a much bigger step. Inhale, nice and long. Again, swivel the right foot, but this time you bend your right knee. Try and get it right over the ankle at a 90 degrees. And then you can rest the elbow on the thigh for this nice version of your side angle. If you can reach, your hand can come right by your right little toe again. Stretching out from your left fingertips to your left heel. Inhale, pull it up. Exhale, coming down onto the other side. Remember, the pose might not be the same. You might have to do something a little different as you transition from the right to the left. Inhale, pull it all the way up. And now you put in your twist. So we turn to face the back of the mat, bend into that right knee, try and get your left upper arm wedged against the thigh. So the full pose, the hand goes to the floor, the heel stays down at the back, and the other arm comes over the top. But most of my new students at the beginning, they drop that back knee and they bring their palms together to help create a nice deep twist. Really work on expanding and contracting your breath through the ribs and the rib cage. Inhale, coming all the way up. Exhale, right down to the other side. So use the other hand, wiggle that arm right over, work into the twist. If for whatever reason you don't feel like the twists are right for you, you can repeat the opening version of the pose with the other arm. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, jump or step to the top of your mat. Samahisthi. So Prasarita Padottanasana A. You step out to the right again. Apparently, it's about the length of one of your legs between your feet. Exhale, take your hands to the floor. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, you're trying to put the top of your head on the floor in between your feet. What you're trying to do and what actually happens aren't always the same thing. You're just going to go as close to there as your body and your breath are willing to let you go today. So there's 4 versions of this pose. We come all the way up in between. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, stay. Inhale, take the arms wide. Exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, open up the front. Exhale, hands stay where they are. Try and put your head to the floor, same place as before. And breathe. So my regular crew, hopefully you're getting the little vinyasa, the breath and the movement in between poses with me. My new people, I wouldn't worry about that too much. You might need to look a little bit more if you don't recognize the names of the poses. So you can replicate them the best that you can. Yeah, it's 5 breaths in each position. Then when you're ready, inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, set yourself there. Inhale, hands go wide. Exhale, interlace the hands behind the back and just press the knuckles towards the floor. Inhale, open the front. Exhale, again, down we go, letting the arms drop over the top. 5. So not only are we listening to the sound of our breath, which keeps us very much aware of our breath, we're counting the breath. Another reason to not hold your breath, because then you'll have to hold the pose for longer. So try to keep those breaths nice and smooth and steady. If you're breathing too fast, then you're not going to end up spending very much time in the pose. When you get to the point where you're practicing on your own, with the rhythm of your own breath, then you can tweak it a little bit to suit you. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, reset, hands on your waist. Inhale, reach down to grab your big toes and lengthen your spine. Exhale, now the head is coming to the floor. Hang on to your toes, send the elbows wide. 5. 4, try and distribute the weight between the back of your foot and the front of your foot evenly. 3, does that head touch the floor yet? 2, and 1. Inhale, look up. Exhale, bring the hands to the waist. Inhale, stand tall. Exhale, finishing Samahisthi. So Parsvattanasana, you're going to bring your hands into prayer behind your back. You turn around to face the back of the mat, right foot forward, left foot kind of on a diagonal. Exhale, fold forward, taking your chin towards your shin. If that's sort of too intense for your arms, you can just reach and hold your opposite elbow behind your back. Keep the belly strong so the back is supported. Try to really thrust your feet into the floor and feel the engagement of your legs lifting up away from the floor. Inhale, come all the way up to the middle, swiveling your feet. And then exhale, you come down, chin to your other shin. Taking your 5 breaths. Inhale, come all the way up. I like to take my arms wide and bend the wrists back the other way at that point. Exhale, reset to Samahisthi. So now we've got a whole set of balancing poses If you need to use a little bit of support, that's fine, but I would encourage you to try and balance by yourself, because if you just persevere with it, it does actually come quite quickly. So I've grabbed hold of my right big toe with my right 2 fingers, but you could grab any part of your leg. If you can straighten the leg all the way, that's great. If not, just go to wherever it goes to. We do 5 breaths out the front. Even if it's 1 breath, fall over, another breath, fall over. And then you go to the side, and we do another 5 breaths. Then you come back to the front, you do a cheeky little forward fold, and then you stack your spine, keep your leg where it is, bring both hands to your waist, and stay. 5, 4, ignore the burning sensation in your thigh. 3, 2, and 1. Reset. Now the other leg. So this spare hand is on the other bum there, which if that's pulling in nice and tight will help you with your balance. Let's go for the left leg. If you choose your drishti dead ahead, you really find something to lock your eyes onto. That should help you with your balance. How is that breathing? Maybe it's become a little more forced because you're concentrating, or maybe it's like completely vanished because you're concentrating. Inhale, bring it back to the front. Exhale, do your little forward fold. That's just 1 breath. And then come up for the 5 holding. And then set yourself Samahistihi. And we're going to make our way all the way down to the floor now. Inhale, take the arms high, look to the thumbs. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, coming through to upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Jump it right through the middle. And then extend your legs out in front of you. So if you find that when you're doing the forward bends, the back rounds a little bit, I would recommend sitting on a book or 2, or if you've got a yoga block, putting that underneath your hips. So we want to try to fold forward from the hips. Inhale, reach forward and grab those big toes. Really open up through the front of the body. And then exhale, allow yourself to fold into that forward fold. Really lengthening up through the back of the legs, softening into your breath. Checking in on the breathing. Checking in on any areas of tension and just trying to let your breath soften into those parts of your body. Inhale, look up and get that length in your back again. Exhale, go for the deepest grip with your hands down your legs and round your feet that's possible. And then just take another 5 breaths, working even deeper into your forward bends. Inhale, sit up. So we're going to do a full vinyasa the first time, just so you know what's going on. I put my hands about halfway down my thighs and press. Then I feel like somebody's trying to give me a wedgie so that my hips go back and up. It lifts my bum off the floor. Hopefully, then I can wiggle my feet back through the gap and step. Eventually, you'll jump back to Chaturanga. Come through to upward facing dog, back to downward facing dog. And we're coming all the way up to the top of the mat. So now jump your feet in the middle of your hands, look up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, bring the arms all the way back up to the top. And exhale, reset Samahistihi. So this was the original tradition. You came back to here after every pose. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, take it back, chaturanga. Inhale, through to upward facing dog. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. And then we jump through again to sitting. And we're ready for the next pose, which is Purva Konasana on this occasion. The full version of the pose is here. You might find that's a bit tensiony on your knees, so you might want to do it with bent legs. You might find dropping your head back doesn't feel so great on your neck, in which case you can keep your head up to the front. Really open the front body. Squeeze your ass. 3, 2, and 1. Take a seat. So this time we're going to do a half vinyasa. So it just goes back to downward facing dog. Again, press the hands into the floor, lift the hips. If you came with the right foot first last time, come with the left foot first this time. Wiggle it through the middle, and you're back to chaturanga. Come through to upward facing dog, and then downward facing dog. So you don't come all the way back to standing, you just jump back through to sit again. And that is your half vinyasa. Now, this is your first lotus of today's class, so be nice to your knees. Gently bring your right heel up and cuddle it in towards your belly button. If the little toe edge of your foot can sit in the crease of the front of your trousers there, let it go. This is a lotus. So the knee is coming towards the other knee and down towards the floor. You've got your right leg on your left thigh. Can you take the right hand round the back to hold the right toes? If the answer is no, you use your left arm as a little link to join up the gap. And then at this point, you decide, how is your breathing? Do you feel like you could go a little bit further, or are you good there? If you can, you fold forward. If you decide to remain upright, you can just really work on trying to get that knee low, trying to keep the breathing nice and steady. And then we repeat the pose on the other side, but first you do your vinyasa. So jumping back, lower down to chaturanga. Come through to upward facing dog. And then people who want to do the half vinyasa, they could stay in downward facing dog. And then people who wanted to do the full, you would inhale, bring your feet forward, looking up. Exhale, fold your head to your legs. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finish with your arms by your sides. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. And then we join everybody together in their downward facing dog. And then we all jump through to seated together. And you're ready to do the Ardha Bala on the other side. So now you pick up the left foot. Tease it into the lotus, being nice to your knee. Just because you could do the pose on one side, no guarantee that it's going to happen on the other side, sadly. And then, you know, you decide, listen to your breath, listen to your body. Do you want to do the forward bend, or is that actually not that helpful? If your knee is really, really grumbling, then don't do what I've said. Find like the closest thing to that feels okay for you. Inhale, lift the head. We'll do the same as last time. Exhale there. Inhale, pick it up. Exhale, take it chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. People who are doing the full vinyasa, inhale, feet come forward. Exhale, head down. Inhale, come all the way to the top. Exhale, finish Samahistha. Inhale, take the arms high. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, look up. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. We're all together, and then you can jump through the middle. And I'm just going to give you a little demo of kind of 3 options for your back bends. So we're building up to coming into this one, Urdhva Dhanurasana. Inhale, lift. 5 breaths, then exhale, drop onto the top of the head. See if you can walk the hands a bit closer, and then inhale, lift back up again. If that's not possible, then maybe you're just leaving your head, neck, and shoulders on the floor and pressing the hips up. You could probably do 5 lots of 5 pretty easily on those. If they're going nice, you can at least start putting your hands into position. And even if you just press with all your might, but nothing lifts off the floor, then we're activating our arms ready for the lift. So traditionally, it's 5 rounds of 5 breaths for each of your back bends. But have a little play, see what feels good for you. Yeah. So my little pole crew, October's warm up now looks like a bit of a heavy workout, huh? 20 back bend presses. Now you've only got to do 5, but you've got to hold it at the top each time. So think about squeezing the inner thighs together when you're at the top. Think about really grounding those feet into the floor so that you can activate all the muscles in your legs. Try to keep the belly long. Feel that opening out through the chest and the shoulders when you've arrived up onto your hands. Be nice to your wrists. If you're doing the ones up on your hands and your wrists are feeling it, come down and just let your wrists have a little release there before you go up again. And then be like, keep listening on that breath. If you're in your back bend and you're like, then maybe you need to ease it out a little bit. Sometimes you just have done that breathing like subconsciously, and just remind yourself, actually, you can do the nice steady breathing, you just forgot. Yeah, that looked nice. And totally, 3 would be great. If you feel like 3 is it for today, that's great. Our counter pose for the back bends is another forward bend here. Some of you might find a twist is needed here. And then again, my regulars, you know what you're doing. You've got the shoulder stand sequence now, so you guys can crack on. And for the people who don't know what's going on, I'll give you a little demo of the full set, and then you can decide how much of it you want to do. If you've got a ponytail making your head go wonky, that's got to move now. So the first pose is like lying on your back here, strong, and you squeeze the shoulder blades together. The second pose is the full shoulder stand, which is up here, but could easily be here. Then the next pose is plow here, but could easily be here. Then it's ear squeeze. Then you come up and you put your legs in lotus and you press your hands on your knees. Then you wrap your hands around your legs and then you slowly, slowly come down and you do the counter poses here and here. So if you're new and you can do 5 breaths in each of those, that would be great. If you can only do the shoulder stand, then that is also fine. If you're like, none of that is working for me, you can just do legs in the air. If you've got a bit of wall or a back of a door that you can rest them against, that would be great. I'm just going to come and have a look so I can see what people are doing. Yeah, that looks nice. Beautiful. So like you've got to be really careful of your neck and your back on these. Like once you're up in a full shoulder stand with the weight in your neck and your shoulders, you must not move your head because you're going to do yourself an injury in your neck. and just be nice to yourself. Check in on the breathing. Do a version of each of those poses where you can still keep your breathing going really smoothly. Yes, Elaine, looking good. That's it. Good, Zena. So if you want to go for it, the next one is the legs in lotus, but you could use like a half lotus or a cross-legged. Or, yeah, if you use the other hand to pull the second foot in, sometimes that works. Sometimes it does that. You have to really keep the shoulder blades together. Yes. Nice work. So all these poses at the end of the primary series, they're also at the end of the second series, by the way. I like to think of them as Mr. and Mrs. So after you've done your back bend, you do your forward bend. After you've done your shoulder stand, where you've bent your back and neck really harsh this way, then you do the opposite. You go that way for the fish, which your legs don't have to be in lotus for, but just remember that's where your lotus feet would be. So you can kind of have your hands there, pretending to hold your feet. You could do it as a half lotus if a full lotus is not possible. Yeah. Sometimes you can just get the second foot over by pulling it with your hand, but don't pull it with too much force because that might give you trouble on your knee. Awesome. So technically there's a little vinyasa there. And then again, my regulars know what they're doing. They can go straight into their headstand practice, however they do it. And then I'll just give you a nice little headstand practice for those of you who don't want to go all the way up yet. So if you get yourself into a downward facing dog and you lower your elbows onto the floor, and then you wiggle your hands together and interlace your hands. And now press the whole of your forearms into the floor and try and push your armpits back towards your ankle. From there, allow yourself to come forward. Try and kiss the floor in front of your hands and then press back up. See if you can do 10 of them. Or maybe just hold this position for 10 breaths and then drop down and release to your child's pose. If you have a headstand practice and you can go up, then do that. Yes. There you go, Leslie. Slowly and steadily get the hips right above. Then extend your legs one at a time. Nice. Good, Zena. Yeah. And then keep them there. Nice. Well done. So just for the people who are on the recording, if you feel any tension in your neck, just immediately come down. And that really is something that I would much rather be working with you face to face on. If you don't already have a headstand practice, I would much rather be with you while you're doing it so that I can see better than I can see on a screen what's going on. And then we just come to our seated position, and we've got just 3 more poses before you guys get to take a little relaxation. So lotus, half lotus, cross legs, make it work for you. So I've done my right leg first, as is the tradition, which means that I do my left hand first to hold my foot, and then the right hand second to hold the foot. If you're like, what? I can't reach my feet. You can just hold your elbows. Fine. Exhale, head down. And breathe. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhale, come all the way up. Press your first finger and your thumb together and just rest your wrists on your knees. Lengthen your spine. Keep breathing. And then uplutihi, the hands come to the floor. Inhale, lift your hips all the way up. Or if they won't come up, just give them some encouragement to lift. Keep pressing into the floor. Keep breathing, sucking in your belly. Looking forward. And then exhale, take the feet to the floor. And now is your relaxation time. So traditionally done in a position something like this. I recommend putting on socks and jumpers if you're going to get cold. If you want to play some chilled out music. And now we relinquish the breath completely. No conscious control of your breathing anymore. Luckily for you, your subconscious will take over so you don't die. I mean, the world record for breath holding is absolutely crazy. So those people who've trained their body could do a whole relaxation without breathing. Pretty impressive, huh? So settling yourself down, releasing the breath, releasing any tension in your body, finding that place of stillness. And I actually want to do a little recall exercise with you guys today. So at the beginning, I was talking about the breath and how just that subtle difference of the change in the breathing can really change your experience in the pose, and how, you know, fascinating to discover that some yogis have they've forced that breath a little bit too much and then caused themselves problems. So I want you to think about, from the very, very beginning of the class, we started with our sun salutations. It was inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, take the hands to the floor. Inhale, lift the head. Exhale, take it back to chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. So if you think about going back to what you were doing at the beginning of the class, we were working with those sun salutations. Like, how was your breath? How were you in your body? How did that feel? Did it feel comfortable? Did it feel like a favorite old path? Did it feel different to normal? If it was a new experience for you, did it feel like, how did that feel? Did it feel a bit weird? Was it, because, you know, yoga is it's like a weird form of exercise, because most forms of exercise, you deliberately try to raise your breathing and your heart rate. Whereas in yoga, we're kind of trying to do the opposite. We're trying to keep that all down as we move. So just visualize yourself doing those sun salutations. Remember how your breath was while you were doing them. And then after we've done the sun salutations A, we worked into sun salutations B, where you bend the knees and you take the arms high. And then as we added into the flow, the warriors, this starts to get the big muscles in your butt and thigh working, which in theory should make your breathing and your heart rate elevate, because the big muscles, they need more oxygen. So maybe at that point in the class, you did feel, oh yeah, it was a real effort to keep my breathing under control and to work with that lovely slow rhythm that we practiced at the beginning when we were just working on the breathing. Or again, maybe it just felt like coming home, working a familiar path. Maybe it made you feel lightheaded. Maybe it made you feel a little dizzy. Maybe that really warmed you up. So the breathing is supposed to warm you up too, as well as the movement. So I'm just going to work my way through the first few standing poses, and then I'm going to leave you to follow through the rest of the class in your own head. So after we've done sun salutations B, We then did Padagustasana, the standing forward bend where you hold your toes, and Padahastasana, where you put your hands under your feet. So just work your way slowly from the very beginning of the class through all the poses that you can remember, or any of the poses that you can remember, if you can remember any of them at all, and just start to think about how your breathing was in each of those poses, and maybe how your breath has made its own journey through the whole of the practice. Like it started off nice and steady when we were seated. Maybe it raised a little bit as you did your sun salutations A, maybe a little bit more as you did your sun salutations B. And then maybe it dropped down as we started to hold the poses. And then maybe particular poses, you noticed your breath was a little bit more powerful. Maybe certain poses, when I was cueing you, you're like, oh yeah, duh, I'm not breathing. So just visualizing yourself doing all the poses that we've done today together, slowly making your way forward. Don't worry if you can't remember them all. But think about how your breath changed in different positions. And then eventually you will arrive in this pose. And the breathing should be really relaxed now. In fact, it should almost be like, am I breathing? Totally relaxed. Enjoying just this moment of peacefulness, this moment of stillness. I've got windows on the roof here at the studio, so I'm listening to the gentle pitter-patter of the rain landing on the windows. I can hear a few little drips from the gutters outside. So when we're in our deep relaxation, we leave the channel of the hearing open, but we kind of distance and remove ourselves from our surroundings. So you kind of just let those sounds wash over you, allowing yourself to feel really relaxed, to feel totally at ease with yourself and your surroundings. So our time is up for this morning. If you guys are like, oh, this is like too yummy to leave, if you stay in your relaxation, you can kind of just let me waffle off in the background. Stay in your relaxation as long as you need to this morning. If you guys are done for today, you can just start to make some gentle movements in preparation for coming back up, bringing yourselves back up to a nice, tall, seated position. So Ashtanga yoga is famously quoted by Pattabhi Jois, its main champion for like over 80 years, I believe. He called it yoga for householders because it's like a beautifully packaged pranayama practice, meditation practice, asana practice, all put together in one, so that you don't have to be a sadhu and do like 2 hours of meditation in the morning, 2 hours of asana practice, 2 hours of pranayama, then that's 6 hours of your day already gone, so that it doesn't give you time to do anything else. Whereas this little package normally doesn't take more than 2 hours, even when you're quite an established practitioner. And then you've still got the rest of your day to do whatever your householder jobs are. So, and traditionally done first thing in the morning quite early, so that it leaves you time to go and do the rest of your things that you need to do in the day. But I think for most of you, it's Sunday, right? So it's a day off. So you could have spent 2 hours doing pranayama, 2 hours meditation, 2 hours asana practice if you'd have wanted to. But now I can just go and chill out. Right, goodbye to my recording people.